뭔가 비밀이 많은 가문인데? 뭔가 서프라이즈 보는 느낌인데? 진실 혹은 거짓 보는 느낌인데?
Even in her 90s. Sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
어? 에디가 여기야?
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife Kay left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
맞아, 미국은 요런 데가 바닥이 건조해요. 밑에 그게 없어요. 배수구가. 욕조에밖에 없어. 어? 새가 있는... 아니구나. 새장 안에 새 사진을 넣어놨어. 새가 없고. 뭐? 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 뭐야? 화장실. 아! 여기다. 열쇠. 여기로 또 들어가는 문이 있나 본데?
There's a secret in this
뭐야?
bathroom.
입체책이다. 바닥이 있다? 바닥에? 뭐야?
It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's
오,
hidden
신기해.
in this book.
뭐야, 이게. 지금 뭐야? 지금 이상한 게 있어.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
여기 사진 인화하는 곳인가 봐. 잘 수가 없는 곳이.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin,
할아버지가 샘의 쌍둥이
and
형제가
that he
있다는
never
것을.
talked about him.
할아버지 샘 쌍둥이.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my
얼마나
mom did.
그 역사를 싫어했던 것 같았다.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it.
할아버지 어렸을 때인가?
My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom,
자막이 진짜 VR 같아.
and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready!
Coming! But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
뭐 뛰려고 여기서? 여기서 뛰어?
I told him going around was impossible.
머리 어지러.
Maybe if I hadn't said that,
예전에 그네 타던 것 같아.
Alvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up,
오!
then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
바람에 날아갔나 봐.
I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly, and he did.
미친놈 아니야?
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar.
아,
When I
더
was
나가
younger,
여기.
I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
그래 나도 저런 적은 많았는데? 근데 저렇게 진짜로 하는 미친놈이 어딨어. 그네 탈 때 한 바퀴 도는 거
After the funeral,
누구나 다.
Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
아. 그리고 죽고 나서도 7년 동안 방을 계속 쓴 거구나. 아. 여기서 멈추고 얘는. 뭐야? 집이 되게 뭐 그네 한 바퀴 도는 거 안 되는데
The passages were a pretty tight fit.
해보려고.
They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies. Whenever people
Bigfoot,
ask me about my
왕발.
family,
나에게
the first thing they
가족이다.
always want to know about is Barbara.
바바리? 바바라 핀치야, 바바라 핀치.
Edie's father Odin built the original house.
얘도 많이 나왔네.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
뭐야? 종이컵 그 전화기 아니야? 여기 아까 거기잖아. 처음으로 돌아왔는데? 여기 아까 안 봤지? 몰리방이지? 몰리. 집이 겁나 커. 이거 시계 가는 건가? 6시 35분 50분 뒤.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library. My mom wasn't much of an optimist,
Why
but
not?
she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive.
밀턴 죽었는데. 여기다.
Great Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
던 핀치 리빙룸.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left.
방금 뭐 있지 않았어?
It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
뭐 한 거야?
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
얘도 나이 많다며 90살 넘었다며. 스포하지마, 스포하지마. 스포 못 봤어 근데 나. 스포하지마요. 퍼즐 풀고 있잖아요. 완벽 해석 중이잖아요. 캠 위치 때문에 숨을 못 쉬겠다고요? 어디 있다 해줘. 여기 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 여기. 여기 오디오 플레이.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
오늘 위에 길이 있는 것 같은데? 벽난로 위에 길이 있는 것 같은데?
성태야 어차피 2시간 안에 못 끝내니까 전 굽지 말고 천천히 게임해라. 헤헤.
무슨 스토리 게임을 스피드런을 해요. 천천히 하고 있어. 잠깐만, 아까 거기 어디 있지? 그거 어디 있지? 그 아까 내가 들어왔던 그 조그만한 2층인가? 그 앞에 더 가는 길 있었는데? 여기다 여기다. 오 뭐야 저씨. 봐봐라.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
아 연예인이었나봐. 봐봐 포스터도 있잖아. 아역스타
I never
아니야?
thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
오 그래 나이 좀 먹고 저기 16? 아 여기 살았던 게?
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara.
이소부화 같은 건가?
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream.
아, 맥컬리 컬킨처럼.
She was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately,
16살의 최연태.
her scream hadn't aged well.
그치.
Getting better.
Huh?
I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in
동기부여를
Halloween
그러면
masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The
얼굴에
secret
열쇠가
is
있다는데?
winding,
계속 가면 아 그래서 아까부터
winding, until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
지하실에 시체 있나 보다.
Later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue.
어떻게?
She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent. She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
뭐야 여기? 그 데니 가족 아니야 이거?
Oh, the fridge rattled and grew still.
스펜 손 그거 먹었나봐 잘라서. 깜짝. 이 새끼야.
Rick?
야, 이
Barb,
십세야.
relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well,
미친놈
I'm
아니야,
not
이거?
scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show.
얘도 제정신 아닌 것 같은데.
Later,
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
진짜 죽은 거 아니야?
Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
개새끼가.
He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara. There's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully.
볼리방이잖아.
She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned.
개새끼야.
Wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet.
내려가면 없을 것 같은데? 와, 죽여도 돼. 이거 무단침입. 미국에서는 총 쏴도 정당방위에요. 미국에서는. 내려가면 없지. 이봐, 씨발.
Had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was
아, 눈을 여기다 왜 그려놨어, 무섭게.
someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter? Hiding under his bed the whole time.
울터 있었어?
He took it all pretty hard. But that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
정신 이상해질 것 같아. 오, 뭐야.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be
정신
remembered.
이상해질 것 같아.
As absurd as that comic was, maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
정신 피폐해질 것 같아, 이거. 나는 마지막에 그건 줄 알았어. 다시 나가야 되나? 네. 아까 그 지하실 가봐야지. 지하실. 난 그건 줄 알았어. 마지막에 서프라이즈 하면서 저 뭐야 카메라 저 보라고. 유지라면서
I
끝난
guess
줄
now I
알았는데.
know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
오르골 열쇠로
재밌는 이야기였기.
프랭크 마냥 어? 쳐맞을 것 같으면은 서프라이즈 하면서 카메라 있다. 냉장고.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot. I saw
냉장고가
Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
냉장.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
뭐야? 냉동실 뒤에 문이 있는데? 안 보여. 아무것도 안 보여. 뭐야 여기?
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
어?
If there's a pattern in all these stories,
방공호야.
I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
여기 월터 모두 안녕히 여기에 30년
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today.
60초 같아. 황도.
I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
4일 살았어. 4일. 점
Even
뭐야
a
이거
monster
손에?
on the other side of the door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just
10년 지났고. 뭐야? 몇 년을 산 거야 여기서? 20년 산 거야? 17년?
whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid.
30년? 아 30. 더 뺄셈. 30년 동안 황도만 처먹고 살았어?
It's been a week now, the longest in 30